Being at Summit the last 4 days has really stirred some things inside of my heart that have me reflecting. So what this summit did is it allowed me to really reflect on just taking time to pause and know that God is there. We got a lot of noise happening outside of who we are. And sometimes we don't hear God because we're too distracted. One of the other things that I took away from being at Summit is that our recovery is extremely personal. It's heavy and it's personal, but it's not private. See, for us, those that are in recovery and that are walking with God, we have an obligation to share that hope with other people. Now being well over 700 plus days free from booze and my recovery is solid, I still have this question that is constantly circling my head and my heart. Before I can share this question with you guys, I legitimately have to bring context to this story by sharing my story. Growing up, my life was pretty chaotic. There was dysfunction in our home. There was childhood trauma. There was things that my parents were dealing with, in turn, things that were reflected on us as kids, things that my sister and I experienced. No kid should have ever experienced those things. It was tough. And then as I progressed and, got into those awkward years in high school, I was getting really rebellious, acting out, fighting with my family even more so, getting involved in drugs and alcohol and promiscuous relationships. Eventually, I was excluded from all schools in the North Star Borough District. Therefore, I ended up going to a military school. That eventually led me into joining the Air Force and progressing in the military. And the thing is, I thrived in my early years in my career. I was always an aggressive overachiever. I looked like on the outside I had all my life put together, but internally I was suffering. I had demons, I had insecurities, I had things that were weighing on my heart and my mind that I just wasn't addressing, and I was numbing. I was numbing pain that I had in my heart and in my mind with alcohol, because it was the easiest solution to kill the noise that was happening in my head. I think the thing with alcoholism, it's always progressive. And eventually, when I got to the dark days of my life, I was legitimately drinking a gallon of vodka a day. At one point, rushed to an ER where I had a blood alcohol content of 0.52. Like more than half my blood was alcohol. And at this point, in 2016/2017, I had the gift of desperation. I knew my current situation, I was slowly killing myself. I burned every bridge possible. I've ruined relationships and friendships, and I checked my butt into yet another treatment program. At this time, I think it was number 8. It was a treatment program at CITC there in Anchorage, Alaska, called Sean Lute. It was a year-long treatment program, and then I additionally stayed another 2 years. I met my wonderful and beautiful wife, Leah. She started coming to church with me. She got baptized. I got baptized. I got baptized on Easter, and things were beautiful. I was working for the church. I was doing creative work. I was plugging into my recovery community, and then COVID hit. We knew that we wanted to sell our home, so we decided to make a change. We decided to move here to Arizona. took us a minute to find a house. Within a month or two of being here, I was able to find employment at one of the most beautifulest companies that I've ever worked for, Small Giants Marketing Agency, where I'm a videographer editor. And I got complacent. With a year living here, I end up relapsing after 5 years in recovery. Never did I ever want my wife to ever know the Jason that I used to be. We had Judah at the time. She was worried. I went to another treatment program, this time in Palm Springs, California at Banyan. So I knew coming back, I wanted to plug into a community. So I started visiting Celebrate Recoveries. I went to a couple, but eventually I went to the Mesa campus for Sun Valley Community Church CR, and I just started going once a week. I wasn't really actively doing anything. I wasn't making commitments. I didn't find a sponsor. I was just showing up and listening for the hour that I was there, tipping my hat and walking out the door. I wasn't doing anything different. It was just another thing for me to do, more busy work without any heart or commitment. It was just checking a box. And that's what I did. I did that for roughly 6 months, and then I relapsed again. I get out of the outpatient program. I did the outpatient program for several months. I was doing the deed. I got a sponsor. I started coming to the Gilbert campus CR because Thursday nights worked a lot better for me. I got a commitment right away. I was doing coffee and drink cleanup at the end of the CR. And then I started doing a 12-step. And what a 12-step is, it's a 9-month commitment where you walk through the 12 steps. We had another child, we had Rayma, and Leah wanted to take the kids up to Alaska. So I'm just spent. I'm emotionally drained. I'm physically drained. I'm trying to do my inventory. And instead of making a phone call to my accountability brothers and my sponsor, I start listening to the devil and I isolate. And that's what I did. I isolated, and that comes with a price. And the price was I relapsed again. Leah was having no part of coming back to Arizona. She was just staying in Alaska until I left the house. When I relapsed, I wanted some accountability the way that I used to have accountability when I was in Alaska. There is one gentleman who I admire and look up to, and that individual was Starling Burge, Dave Fedorsky. And I was like, dude, I need you to come and just be with me, man. Like, just come snap me out of this funk that I'm in and get me back on track, brother. Like, I need. And he did. He caught a flight and he came here, and it was a grueling 3 or 4 days that he was here because I was detoxing after like 7 days of just hardcore drinking. I remember, when Fedorsky was here, I was praying. When he went to bed, I sat in that room and I hit my knees and I just said, God, I want to have freedom. That comes with a price. And the price is you're gonna have to start putting in some work. I respected my wife's boundaries. I moved out of this house. I got an apartment and I called my sponsor. I made amends to my sponsor. He's like, get your butt back into that step study. I made amends to the accountability brothers in my step study. I did 90 meetings in 90 days. I was doing the deal, and I've been doing the deal ever since. My recovery is on point. I'm well over 700 days. I'm a coach on our leadership team at CR. I'm pouring into that ministry because it saved my life. Now, the question that circles above me and constantly keeps popping into my heart and my mind is this: am I a changed man? Or am I one step away from having a drink and losing my life? I have changed. There has been a revival that has happened in my heart and in my mind and in my soul. God has delivered me from a very dark place. And I'm not one step away from having a drink. I am actually 12 steps away from having a drink. And I will continuously be 12 steps away. I do a 10-step daily. Before my head hits the pillow, I'm going through my daily inventory. I'm asking God to help with my character defects and things throughout the day that may have set me back. Because here's the thing, life is always in session. And when life is in session, you are going to face challenges. But now, I am not facing these things alone. I know God is with me. I know my community of CR and those in my life are with me. And eventually, with me doing the next right thing, conversations of me and Leah working things out started to happen. And by God's grace, she wanted to work things out. And she wanted to work on forgiving me and for me to move back into the house. If you're watching this, and if you yourself or you know somebody who is struggling, that may be asking the same question that I tend to ask myself from time to time, there is an answer. I mean, I truly found freedom in CR, and I know if CR has saved and changed my life, it could do the same for you. I truly, highly encourage, if you are part of Celebrate Recovery, is to go to one of these summits. It was a legit experience that I just have a hard time putting into words and expressing what it was like going.
I'm just gonna trust what you're saying. You never planned. Came through the valley, we walked through the fire. Your grace is amazing. I trust what you're saying. You never planned. I know that you work every trial for good if I stay and be patient. I'm just gonna trust what you're saying. You never planned. Came through the valley, we walked through the fire. Your grace is amazing. I trust what you're saying. You never planned. I know that you work every trial for good if I stay and be patient. Ooh, yeah, move up, yeah. You kicked out my feet, perfect love, yeah. Darkness and shadows gon' fall in the battle. I think your kingdom is come, yeah. I cannot run, yeah. Surrender, you fill up my cup, yeah. The reason to strive, yeah. You look me in the eye, I've been your son, yeah. I thought that I was going out my mind. I was lost, but then you came and saved my life. I had nothing, then you came and made it right. Now I won't be scared if I'm gonna make it out enough.
Thank you for allowing me to share. And with that, I will go ahead and catch you on the next one.